sack of shit, computer. Oh hey there, Dylnation. It's the Dilster501 here. I'm just trying to work on my Christmas gift to you guys. I'm touching up on a few things before I render it. But anyway, I just wanted to take this time to give you guys what's Raw from the Slammy Awards Monday Night Raw and from SuperSmackdown Live, which took place yesterday on Tuesday night. So I have more to talk about than what I did last week, and like I said, I'm only doing this for a month, so well, you can get used to it for a month, but I won't be doing it after that. So hang on tight, because we're gonna start talking about what's Raw from Raw and Smackdown right now. So before we talk about the major points from Monday Night Raw, let's talk about the actual Slammies itself. I'll be talking about some of the awards from Raw and a couple of the others from WWE.com in the pre-show. So the first Slammy Award presented was the Breakout Star of the Year for 2015. There were actually some pretty legitimate nominees for this. Neville, Charlotte, Kevin Owens. There were a lot of them. But the one that I thought had this by a landslide was Kevin Owens. But when they announced it, they had me wrong. Who was it? The man that WWE Creative seems to forget at some points. Neville. How the fuck do people vote for Neville? Maybe because he's a good guy? Maybe because everyone likes seeing him doing the flippy-doo red arrow? What did he do that made people vote for him other than doing the red arrow on a regular basis and teaming with Stephen Amell from Arrow at SummerSlam? Did he beat John Cena on his first night at Elimination Chamber? Did he win the Intercontinental Championship at Night of Champions from Ryback? No. Kevin Owens should have won this award. At least he was able to stay legitimate during its main roster stay. I don't know how the fuck people can't realize why Kevin Owens is a legitimate star. I don't know why. But I guess Neville could use this Slammy to gain momentum? Who knows? The Superstar of the Year was the Slammy Award presented later in the night by Stephanie McMahon, who had a temper fit earlier in the evening because of Mr. Smiling Badass Roman Reigns, which I'll get to later after I talk about the Slammies. Everyone on the roster had a chance to win this award. But who else but Mr. Money in the Bank, Mr. WWE Champion, could win this Slammy Award? I wonder who could that be? Mr. Seth Rollins. I mean, he deserved it out of everyone else on the WWE roster. He worked his ass off for everyone watching around the world. Despite all the terrible booking that WWE gave him. Seth, I hope you get better, man, and you can rebuild yourself. You can reinvent yourself. And in 2016, you will amaze us again. The surprise return of the year award kind of shocked me a little bit. Not because of, oh, it's a surprise, they're back in the form of a Slammy. It's because of who won it. Sting, for attacking Seth Rollins the night after SummerSlam. I'm like, huh? Well, I mean, yeah, Sting is popular too, but the Dudley Boys, after, what, how many years now? 10? 15 years out of the WWE? They came back in Brooklyn and practically had the biggest pop of the night that night and put the New Day through a table. How could you not win that award for the Dudley Boys? I was shocked. I was surprised, no pun intended. But I thought the Dudley Boys should have won that award, but props to Sting. At least he walked out with the Slammy that night. The Diva of the Year. Who deserved to be the Diva of the Year coming out of this Diva Revolution? There were 4 legitimate nominees out of the 5 in this voting. And they actually got this one right this time. And yes, we all love Paige. She's hot, she's sexy, she's a good wrestler. But the actual winner, Nikki Bella, won this award, and rightfully so. Yes, we all supposed to hate her. She's a heel, like her sister. But hey, you gotta give credit where it's due. She became the longest reigning Divas champion of all time. I mean, no hate on AJ Lee. She finally won the award last year, like AJ Lee, after she got robbed of it by the Bell Twins 2 years ago. And now Nikki Bella finally gets the credit she deserves, in the form of a Slammy, for all of her hard work and dedication to the WWE for the past year. And rightfully so, she deserves it. I mean, Paige will get it next year, hopefully. Pray to God. But this year was the reformation of Nikki Bella, wrestling-wise. Now, this is awesome. This is awesome. Moment of the year. Who else could present it but The Miz? The Miz comes out to present the This Is Awesome Moment of the Year. And, I mean, yes, it was awesome having to see these moments again. But it wasn't awesome to see who won the This Is Awesome Moment of the Year award. I mean, you had a couple of awards that were actually awesome to see. There was The Shield, Randy Orton, and The Rock and Rousey. Now, which one of the 3 were the winners? If you said The Rock and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, you were correct. Why? I mean, from a business standpoint, that's a good thing. The Rock and Ronda Rousey are 2 of the biggest Hollywood and UFC box office whatevers, respectively. But it's what defines it. Randy Orton RKO and from a curb stop was like genuinely mind-blowing. Like, it was a counter that I've never seen before at WrestleMania. I was there in person to see that. I was also there when Ronda Rousey attacked Stephanie and Triple H. That was cool too. But there's nothing that could, but the RKO curb stop thing couldn't can't be beat by that. And that couldn't be beat either by the Shield's triple powerbomb to Randy Orton at Payback. I mean, that was a brief reunion by the Shield. Was that a sign of things to come in the near future? Maybe. That's what I was thinking at that point. That should have been the This Is Awesome moment of the year. But, no, guess not. So the last Slammy of the night was the match of the year for 2015. And there were some pretty legitimate match of the year contenders, wrestling and non-wrestling wise. And the award goes to Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell, in a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, that match was a match of the year candidate and did have that potential, but did it really deserve the award? Well, yes and no. What, the Dylster 501 thinks should have won that match? Well, I'm split, actually. I liked the match from an extreme standpoint, but from a wrestling standpoint, and in another extreme standpoint, I'd have to go with the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble between Cena, Lesnar, and Rollins, and John Cena versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. Those two matches brought the house down. That was legitness right there. Those two matches had me going, ah! I mean, the Hell in a Cell match had me going, too. But maybe not enough to have me going for a match of the year. So, either one of the two from the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber had for match of the year. So, that's all I have to say. Alright, so enough about the Slammies. Let's talk about Raw from Monday Night Raw. So, Raw kicks off with Stephanie McMahon all pissed, and she says like, "Oh, Roman Reigns won the title last week by punching my daddy, KOing him with his superhero knuckle sandwich." And then she keeps bitching and bitching about how Roman won the title by beating the shit out of her husband and her father. And then this brings out Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns starts doing his usual babbling as usual. And then later in the segment, Stephanie starts telling her, "You better get out of my ring right now, or there will be hell to pay." And then, what does Roman do? He starts laughing while saying, "They don't want me to," because the fans are telling him, "No, no, no, no." All while smiling like the badass that's not supposed to. He's the WWE Champion, not John Cena 2.0. Anyway, he keeps smiling and smiling while Stephanie McMahon keeps telling him to get out, get out. And then what does Roman do next? He uses the reverse psychology method, I think, and turns his back away from Stephanie McMahon. This really pisses off Stephanie McMahon, which sets up the two matches later that night for Raw. The Usos versus the New Day in a handicap match, and Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus in a steel cage match. And Roman Reigns is like, "I don't give a shit. They can fight because that's what they're supposed to do on a wrestling show. Duh." So, anyway, that happens, and we're going to discuss it. So, in the matchup, one of the matchups that Stephanie McMahon announced, the New Day goes up against the Usos in a 2-on-3 handicap match. But before the match, the New Day cuts a promo on how they didn't win the Slammy Award for Tag Team of the Year. And rightfully so. Shame, shame, shame on every one of you that voted for the Usos. I don't know why you did, but the New Day are as over as fuck and are funny as hell. I don't know why you voted for the Usos. They've been out since WrestleMania. Why? The New Day are so funny. And I know they're bad guys. The Usos are good guys and you're supposed to vote for them. Maybe that's why you voted for them. But that's not the point about Slammy Awards. You're supposed to vote for your favorites. And the New Day has become my favorite tag team right now because, I mean, they're good wrestlers. And they're funny. Those are the two dynamic things for the New Day that make them my favorite tag team right now. Anyway, the Usos somehow overcome the 2-on-3 disadvantage and win the match. But shame on you guys for voting for the Usos for Tag Team of the Year. Shame. Booty. So, in the main event of Monday Night Raw Slammy Awards edition, Dean Ambrose took on Sheamus in a steel cage match. But before that, the League of Nation of Domination practically dominated half of Monday Night Raw. They took out Jack Swagger. They took out the breakout star Neville. And the Usos right before the main event. So, the League of Nation of Domination continued to dominate Dean Ambrose throughout the match. Actually, before the match, Sheamus bro-kicked Dean Ambrose out of the cage and basically had the advantage before the match. So Sheamus beating the holy crap out of Dean Ambrose, and who comes out? Mr. Smiley Badass Roman Reigns for the save. And he plays games with Sheamus with the chair, and he's like, oh no, he's got a chair. What do I do? What do I do? Should I try to grab it from him? And he sees Roman Reigns climbing with the chair, and what does he do? Throws it to Dean Ambrose, and it's like, oh no, Dean Ambrose got the chair now. And then Dean Ambrose whips it on Sheamus, 50 Shades of Grey style, and Dirty D's to Sheamus with the chair. And I was thinking, like, you could have covered that. You could have pinned him for the 3 count. You could have won it right there. But no, Ambrose decides to do it the hard way and climb out of the cage. Ambrose eventually wins the match. So, he wins. Yay for Ambrose. So, we've talked about the Slammies. We've talked about what's Raw from Monday Night Raw. So now, let's lay the Smackdown on SuperSmackdown. So SuperSmackdown took place last night, and it was actually a good show. And if they had more live Smackdowns on Tuesday on the USA Network, I mean, it's moving to USA Network on Tuesday, but if they kept it on Tuesdays, that would be good for business for WWE. But anyway, let's talk about the show in general. So it starts off with the New Day versus the Lucha Dragons for the Tag Team Championship. But the New Day start the show with their usual opening promo. They talk about their Christmas album, and they're still ranting about how they didn't win the Tag Team of the Year Slammy Award. Rightfully so. Shame. And yes, they talk about their Christmas album. We wish you a booty Christmas and a happy new day. If that existed, I would actually buy it. Anyway, this is actually a pretty good match for the tag team titles. In fact, the only thing that kind of meh for me was Sin Cara botching a suicide dive. he face planted in front of Kofi Kingston, which was casual, usual Sin Cara. But anyway, Xavier Woods once again helps the New Day win by distracting Sin Cara with his tromboner, and which leads to Big E hitting the big ending onto Sin Cara for the 1, 2, 3. New Day wins. New Day rocks. Booty. Booty booty. So Santino Marella had this Christmas party for the lower card and the rest of the roster that was on SmackDown, which was apparently ruined by Stardust and the Ascension, which led to a tag team match between the Ascension and Neville and Titus O'Neil. Why am I talking about this? Well, I don't know. It was okay match. It was basically a match to sell Christmas and the holiday themed episode of SmackDown, I guess. I'm surprised it didn't turn into a street fight tag team match, but Neville gets the win with the red arrow, as usual. So Becky Lynch was on commentary for Charlotte's match against Brie Bella. Why am I talking about this Divas match? Because it was what happened before the end of the match. So, well, actually, most of what Becky Lynch was talking about during with the commentating team. So Becky Lynch is avoiding all these questions about her friendship with Charlotte. It's like, why are you still friends with Charlotte? And do you realize what Charlotte is becoming? And Becky Lynch is all like, Charlotte's my friend. We're like sisters, and this and that and this. It's like, friendship is magic, Michael. No, Becky didn't really say that. But anyway, near the end of the match, Team Bad comes out in like their Christmas onesies, and they come all over Becky Lynch. There's like white cum all over her orange Irish hair now. No, I'm just kidding. It's eggnog. But this pisses off the Irish lash kicker, and she starts being holy hell because they spilled cum all over her lunch. But Charlotte doesn't care. She doesn't care. She just locks in the figure 8 and makes Brie tap out. What is this? Why am I talking about this? Because this may lead to a Divas Championship match at the Royal Rumble between Charlotte and Becky Lynch for the Divas Championship. And hopefully by that point, they're no longer a tag team or a pairing or whatever they are at this point. In the main event of SmackDown, Dean Ambrose defended his Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was great. This match was amazing. It's like, at one point in the match, Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler were throwing Christmas gifts at each other, Christmas trees at each other, and they even threw Kevin Owens off the stage onto a Christmas tree and Christmas gifts. But then there's one point in the match where Kevin Owens hit Dean Ambrose with the suplex that Dean awkwardly landed on. I hope Dean Ambrose doesn't have a serious neck injury or a serious concussion that could hurt his Intercontinental Championship reign or even his career. I'm just glad he managed to finish that match. So anyway, Dolph Ziggler nearly wins the match with that zigzag dirty deeds combination with Dean Ambrose onto Kevin Owens. He nearly won that match, and then as he goes for sweet chin music onto Kevin Owens, he hits it onto Kevin Owens, but then Dean Ambrose plays Vulture and hits dirty deeds onto Ziggler for the 1, 2, 3. Retains the Intercontinental Championship like a survivor he is. Damn. I don't know how he's still up after that suplex. He's like Steve Austin after that pile driver at SummerSlam in 1997. So, what'd you guys think of Raw and SmackDown this week on WWE Week? And hopefully hopefully I can do more reviews of Raw in the coming month. Won't that be fun? Oh yeah, don't forget to leave what you guys thought of Raw and SmackDown this week in the comments below. And always remember to subscribe for more insanity. All my social media stuff in the description below. And be here on Christmas Day, Friday, for my Christmas gift for you guys. I don't know what time I'll have it, but I'm sure that I'll have it on Christmas Day on my channel. Just be on the lookout. Alright, Dylnation. Hearts to you all. Have a Merry Christmas and always be delicious.